Hey, thanks for joining us on the Eat Crunchy podcast. We are three sisters on a journey towards healthy lives using Weight Watchers to get there. We'd love to hear about your journey as well on our Facebook page or at eatcrunchy.com. Hey, you guys. Rebecca, Lisa, and Heidi here. We are back together again. It's been so long since we've all had a podcast together. The world is right. I hope you guys are doing well on your journey. We wanted to talk a little about today this idea, brace yourselves. What if Weight Watchers is not enough? I know what you're saying. We've been doing Weight Watchers for a while now, but I think that, as Lisa, Heidi, and I have talked, we have realized that we've hit some different barriers, and we wanted to kind of talk today about what that looks like. So, anyway, I guess I was wondering, Lisa, Heidi, what are the thoughts you guys are having? What do you do if Weight Watchers isn't enough? How do you know if it's not working for you? When do you kind of jump ship, or when do you try to adjust differently? What do you think?
Heidi and I are like, which who goes first, right? Well, I mean,
I've had this thought a lot. So the past few months, I have lost weight, and then I have gained it, and then I've been playing with the same 10 pounds. Yeah. And I'm feeling frustrated because I know that it's me and the motivation, but that's valid, right? Like if you're not motivated, like that's a valid thing. Rather than kicking myself and thinking, oh, I'm such a horrible person, I'm thinking, how can I motivate myself? Like what do I need to do to be motivated? And I keep coming back to maybe obviously something needs to change. Is it Weight Watchers? Is it, is it the food that I eat? Like if I spent a little more on the adult indulgences, like the nicer salmon or whatever, I don't know. Like if I had like really nummy, deliciously prepared meals, would that motivate me? And so I've been tossing around this concept for a while because I just feel like something needs to change because the last few months as I've been working on, the same 10 pounds over and over again, I'm not making progress. I'm not gaining a million pounds, but I'm not making progress. And that's frustrating. So this is a good topic. I have a lot to say about it.
So for me, it was, as you guys know, I moved to a new place and started a new job and have like a whole new sort of plethora of stresses. Did really well on Weight Watchers the first few weeks that I was here. Actually, I think broke through some of the, plateau that I was on to a lower plateau. There's always a new plateau waiting for you. So, and but then there's a lot that's, as not going to go into it here, but just a lot that's really sort of on my mind and stressing me out. And I feel like I stopped having the bandwidth for what Weight Watchers was requiring, which is all of the, writing everything down, even though it's easy and on the app. I stopped having the bandwidth for that. And I felt like I just had to like stop. And so I stopped. I mean, I haven't actually participated officially in Weight Watchers for a few weeks now, just to have a break from it. And here's what's weird. One, I gained a little bit at first, but then my weight started to kind of come down, and I'm actually a couple pounds below when I stopped doing all of that stuff. I'm not saying that I'm losing really quickly or anything, and I'm not even sure that I'm losing, but my point is that I kind of expected everything to kind of balloon up. And what happened is I've at least been, pretty much the same. And I think that comes from over a year of working really hard to try to be healthy, because what happens is you pick up habits and, not eating when you're not hungry and stuff like that. So I feel like it hasn't been as bad as I thought, but it's been a nice mental break. And so I'm sort of with Heidi on this one. I feel like I don't know when I'm going to try to go back on full. I feel like I'm trying to implement or continue with things that I've implemented in the past I'm trying to maintain habits. But at this point, I have not felt that. It's probably more about the journey than about Weight Watchers itself, but I just have not felt like I've had the mental energy to do what I've been trying to do for the past year, which is, take the energy to write everything down. It's just been too much.
Heidi and I attended a meeting on Saturday, and what the leader actually spoke a little bit to this, and she talked about that there are going to be times that you just mentally don't have the energy to do what it takes, that if you really are into weight loss being a lifelong thing, and for those of us that have a lot to lose, it's not a 6 month ordeal, we're down and then we're done. It really is a longer term thing. But there might be times that you have to kind of find ways to give yourself a break, and whether that's allowing yourself to indulge a little bit more, or not track, or switch to what's the other plan where you don't track stuff?
Simply Filling.
The Simply Filling. If you do something, or kind of just try to rely on the healthy habits for a couple of weeks, allow yourself that break that sometimes is needed. Heidi talked about kind of you've been regaining and working on the same 10 pounds. And I feel like I've been going through the same thing. I went through my little plateau busting, woohoo. And then I kind of stopped again. And so I feel like for the last several months, I am just struggling. And part of it is I think that my body has gotten really comfortable where it is right now in terms of my weight. I think that in times past, to be at this weight and to not gain, I could be a lot more with my food, but it's like my body's gotten more efficient or something. I don't know. I think part of it too is my consistency of my habits. That this last week, for example, I really focused on more fruits and vegetables. I had tons of fruits and vegetables. I worked out a couple times. I was doing pretty well, and then Thursday came, and I didn't throw it all away, but I certainly wasn't as strict as I had been. And I think that not being as strict the last 2 days then led me to gain a pound at weigh-in. And, for me, I kind of go through do I need to do something differently? Is there a different diet I need to be on? What needs to change for me to have more success? And Heidi, I know that this last week or two, you'd actually talked a little bit about this as well, as you were looking at maybe other programs to join. I guess I was wondering if you wanted to share a little bit about that.
So this last week, I've been all over the place. I've been Facebooking Lisa and Rebecca, all these different diet plans that I've come across. I've been to, websites I've looked at and engaged in range from like a soup cleanse to Nutrisystem to, I don't know, I've been all low carb, like maybe I should do Atkins. And
meal service delivery, that's another thing you looked at, right?
Meal service delivery, because I'm tired too. I feel like a lot of it is just I'm running into I don't have the mental capacity to do this right now, in the way that I really need to be doing it in order to lose the weight. But I kind of decided on, well, I'll tell you where I kind of am. So I've decided that there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not for me. I don't know that I like Freestyle. The plan before Freestyle, where it was just fruits and vegetables, that just made a lot of logical sense to me. And it was something that I think worked for my body. I don't know that this is working for my body and for my mind. And so there are people that have joined after I've joined, and they've had a lot of success with Freestyle. And I don't think there's anything wrong with Freestyle. I just don't know that it's right for me right now. And so I'll preface that by saying that I don't know. I don't have any intention of quitting Weight Watchers necessarily. I benefit from the groups. I benefit from the accountability. And I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with Freestyle. I don't know that I need to be eating more points anyway. Like, it's okay to kind of limit myself and maybe just fill, I don't know, to the points that I have. But I have felt the need to kind of simplify my diet. And rather than constantly thinking like, oh, can I have turkey? I can have beans. I can just thinking, you know what, I'm going to pretend that fruits and vegetables are free and then everything else I need to scan, just because that's more simple to me. In order to motivate myself and make it easier, I've decided that I'm going to order like a food delivery type thing. I mentioned the soup cleanse only because that's it's not really a cleanse. It's just like a soup diet where you eat like a normal dinner, but then you have a smoothie for breakfast and a soup for lunch. I feel like I'm going to probably do that one just because it's simple. I need something simple. And I'm finding that Weight Watchers it's not simple for me anymore. It's too much to think about, And so I'm really having to like pick apart every meal that I have, and that's just overwhelming. So what I've decided I was going to do is I'm going to do like a week or two of ordering something in, and I'll track it on Weight Watchers. And I'm going to keep going to the meetings and then kind of reassess where I am in a couple weeks. So that was kind of a wishy-washy answer, but
do you think that that's going to make you? Do you feel like no? It's a good answer. Do you feel like that's going to make you hungry though? Like if you're having soup and stuff during the day?
well, it might. I think what I had intended to do was just saying I can have fruits and vegetables, the smoothie, the soup, and then like a healthy, sensible dinner. Because I feel like I just need I need someone to just tell me what to eat right now. Like I don't have the mental capacity to sit here and pick through every meal that I have to determine what's free and what's not and what's points and how big is this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just too much work. And so I've kind of decided that I just need it to come to me, and that's what I will have during the day. And, you know, during the day when the kids will eat something different than I eat, and that's okay. So that's where I am. And I figured, you know, maybe if I do 2 weeks of just that, then I've kind of, can I clear my brain a little bit and get back to Weight Watchers? Can I reassess what's best for me? I've looked at Jenny Craig. I've looked at Nutrisystem. Like, I think in concept, really any of these will work if you stick with it, just like Freestyle. I think Freestyle is a good plan. It's just not working for me right now. And I don't know how to get it to work for me. That's what I've been messing with for the past few months is how do I get this plan to work for me? And it's not. So I just don't know what else to do but to kind of do something different.
Have you reached out, Heidi, at all to in the app? There's a place where you can like talk to a person. Have you talked to anybody about like Freestyle not working and seeing kind of and they had any thoughts about that?
No, because I feel like I've heard other people who've reached out and they haven't been given any help, but I mean, maybe I should, I guess. Doesn't hurt.
I wasn't making a suggestion for you. As you were talking, I realized that that's not a resource I've used very often, and one that I think I could probably use more of. And so I just thought I would see if that's something you had tried.
Yeah. No, I haven't tried that yet. In the past, when I've reached out on the app, I don't know that I was helped in any beneficial way. Okay. And so I've reached out 2 or 3 times on various different things, and it wasn't ever very helpful. So I guess I don't use that resource that often.
Well, you know, I told myself when I started Weight Watchers, which is almost a year and a half ago, a year and a few months ago, that, you know, the first time I kind of got frustrated that I was allowed to get off Weight Watchers as soon as I found something that would work better. And I don't think that the problem is Weight Watchers. I think the problem is, I don't want to say the problem is because I know Heidi's point of getting exhausted, like that's such a valid thing that I have to find something that works for me. And I think that Weight Watchers has some flexibility that sometimes I don't allow it to have because I look at it in a really narrow way. And so I'm still, you know, full on board Weight Watchers. I'm just trying to figure out how to use it in a way that's helpful. You know, I agree with Heidi. I feel like Freestyle isn't really working for me. I've worked really hard to make it work for me and it just isn't. I also benefit from the meetings. But I am getting frustrated kind of being where I am. One thing that I've been thinking a lot about the last couple of days is just I was reminded that I'm a person who values feeling strong and being physically active, and I haven't been as active as I would like to be. And so I decided I needed to put some more emphasis there. So there's a girl that I go to church with who has lost a significant amount of weight lately through diet and exercise and working with a personal trainer. And so I actually messaged her today to see if we could meet up sometime this next week and kind of hear a little bit more about like what her success has been. I feel like I need to be around people that are doing what I want to be doing to have that motivation. I am meeting tomorrow with a trainer from my gym that I have attended in like 6 months. So
we have a habit of like joining gyms and funding all of their upgrades and never actually attending any.
And I will say, well, I haven't been to the gym. I have been doing some working out, but it's really inconsistent. And I need some accountability. And so I have a cousin I reached out to and have been trying to be accountable to him as well. So I feel like I need some support to increase and strengthen the parts that I know about myself. While I'm still figuring out the food piece, I know that fitness helps me to feel stronger. I know it helps me to be motivated. It's 5 million degrees in Texas. And so, it's harder to work out, I feel. And so I just need to be willing to be really miserable for a period of time. So that's kind of, I'm trying to do a workaround. I'm trying to say, Weight Watchers doesn't talk a lot about moving more, but I feel for me in my own personal process that I need to put a lot of emphasis on that. And so if I'm going to live at this weight for the next 6 months within 5 or 10 pounds of where I am, because I can't for the love break through, then I might as well live at this weight and feel stronger and at least do exercise so my heart feels healthier while I figure out what to do about my eating.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, I feel like I'm kind of making a conscious decision that there's other things that I need to spend my mind on right now, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to gain in that time, and I want to sort of maintain habits, which I'm trying to do. But right at this moment, I feel like health for me is focusing on some of the other things causing me stress, right? Because we've talked a lot about how your head has to be in the right place, right? It's like 90% where your head is. And for me, if my, I just know that my head right in this moment is not in a place where I can have my meal planning and I can get up and I can work out and I can, write everything down in the app and I can be rah every day. And I did that for a long time and I felt like it was really good, but I feel like there's other stresses. So in the sense of like holistic health, sometimes maybe you have to kind of go focus on other things that are sort of impeding this journey, right? Or maybe that's part of it. Maybe it's just part of the journey as we've talked about in the past. So I think that's kind of where I am, at least for now. It might change very soon. I hope it changes soon. I hope I feel like I have a lot more energy for this stuff, but I guess I'm feeling like that's kind of where I am right now, is like I would need to focus on stress and, other things that are gonna, they have to sort of be on a little bit of a better place before I can really come back and focus on this so much. I'm not trying to say goodbye to all of this, stuff like that. But I think it's part of the health equation, is knowing when to focus on other types of health, right? Other aspects of your health.
I feel like we have, this feels like such a downing topic. We have a lot of people who do Weight Watchers. I know we have some people who also don't do other, to do other plans that aren't Weight Watchers. And so I feel like in some ways it's almost like we're doing people a disservice. I don't want to be poo-pooey, but I think this is part of the journey, is talking about like, if something's not working for you, you need to change. Like, isn't there some quote about like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results? Like, that's how I'm feeling, is that I'm trying to do the same thing over and over again because I keep being told, Freestyle, it should be working. This Weight Watchers should be working, and it's not, And so I think the fact that it's not working for me is what's causing me to lose my motivation. And so I need to do something different. Otherwise, what's the point, Even
Weight Watchers, I think, recognizes that, though, because they talked about coming out with this new food delivery service, which I can't wait till I get something going.
Walmart, this was one of the things that I looked into trying to find something, and I knew that they were coming out with this, but they haven't done it yet. Walmart and Weight Watchers are partnering up to not even the food delivery, but it's going to be mass spread to all Walmarts, is that you can have meals that are like the home delivery meals, but in Walmart instead, which theoretically should be cheaper and more affordable for most people. But they're coming out the second half of 2018. So we probably have a couple more months before that comes out. But I feel like that might help some of this concept for me, because I feel like every meal I have to pick apart, and that's overwhelming. If I go out to eat, I have to think, okay, what part of this is free and what part of it is not? Well, the shrimp is free, but how much oil did they use? I don't know. Like, that's overwhelming. I just want to be able to put in my phone, what I had, and have it just do it.
Well, and Heidi, to what you were saying a second ago, I think that the whole point of this podcast, the reason that we started doing it, was to help us maintain motivation, to kind of share our process, but we're super genuine. And so I think that, from my perspective, part of my goal for our podcast today is to say, look, this is where we are. And other people might be in the same place on their journey, or maybe they've been in this lull and they found a way to work through it, and we could really benefit from their wisdom. And so, I think that we're not Weight Watchers spokesmen. They do not pay for any part of our podcast. We are three sisters trying to figure this out, and this just happens to be where things are. And it sounds like between the three of us, we have some in common with where we are right now, some things that are not common, but it's where we are.
Well, And I think it's important, like when I think about my weight loss journeys in the past, or my weight loss journey and it being in the past, I would have given up by now. And so I feel like I'm happy that I'm not giving up, even if I don't know where I'm going to turn next. And it may just be that I continue on Weight Watchers. Maybe I just need to kind of kick myself into gear and have some initial success, and maybe I'll be better. I don't know. But the fact that none of us are really giving up, and saying, well, this is just too hard. I'm just going to, go eat some bread and biscuits. Like, nobody's saying that. We're all saying...
What's on the biscuit?
But I think that that's progress. And I feel like for the listeners who are totally gung-ho Weight Watchers, awesome. If you're struggling like I am, like, don't give up. Maybe you need to figure it out with, just like we are.
So I had a bit of an aha moment as you were just talking, Heidi, not just about the biscuits, but
maybe.
So this idea that like, I would have given up before now, and that you're really proud of yourself for not giving up. To me, my thoughts might jumble a little bit here as I'm figuring it out, but to me that makes a lot of sense in terms of the idea of endurance. If you're enduring more than you have endured before, then it would make sense you would experience fatigue for longer periods of time than you have. And so that fatigue is evidence of growth in a new area versus it being some sort of a bad thing. I don't know. I guess I'm thinking about like working out. Because I've been trying to walk and jog. So if I do it for 30 minutes and I'm really tired, great. But as I keep doing it, I'm going to be tired at 40 minutes and at 50 minutes and 60 minutes. So long as I keep doing it, I'm still going to hit a tired mark. We're enduring through a period of time that is maybe we haven't had to endure before. And so maybe I don't know, we should probably delete this whole conversation. But there's something that you said just made a lot of sense to me.
No, I get the concept of what you're trying to say is that means that maybe I've pushed myself further than I have in the past.
Thank you.
And the fact that I'm kind of like, it's almost like you're letting your muscles relax while you push yourself again. Like, we're not stopping. We're resting while we continue the push.
Well, and I feel like one of the struggles that I've had is that I have these bursts of motivation and I do really well, and then I lose weight. And rather than maintaining at that weight when the motivation isn't there, I regain that same weight. And so I feel like if I find a way to maintain and just not lose at those times I don't have motivation, that's the secret ticket. That's the piece. Just those darn chocolate chip cookies at my work, they just call me and I have a hard time saying no. And the times that I'm good, I don't eat them. And then the times where I don't have motivation, I get one like a day. And so, it's things like that I'm not gaining huge amounts of weight. So overall I'm maintaining, which is, I do think is a skill set. But it's not a skill set I want to employ right now. I want to be losing. And so that's the piece that I think it's okay to have moments of more motivation, moments of less motivation. I just have to figure out when the motivation isn't there, how do I behaviorally maintain for a week or two until I can then drop down again?
I see it as I need to kick myself into gear, but I don't need to keep pushing myself doing the same thing. Like, it's not just that I'm not kicking myself into gear, it's that the same thing that I was doing wasn't working. So I need to like kick myself in other directions.
Well, and I think that's, kind of the message that I'm hearing as we're talking today is that it's not about, I've hit a roadblock, this isn't working, so I'm done, and I'm done trying to lose weight. I'm hearing, that we're all trying to find a way to kind of work through it while being committed to continue to be healthy. And, I was thinking when you were talking about freestyle, I know that when freestyle got rolled out, I'm confident that the stocks in, turkey went through the roof as people were having a lot of new 0 point foods. And you know what? Turkey in my body, probably, I don't need to eat turkey all the time. Like, part of this for me, I think is getting more in tune with my body and what does my body need, and trying to work through and find ways to move more and eat in a way that helps me to be successful with that. And I believe I can find that within Weight Watchers. I just have to be willing to kind of continue to access support and problem solve and stick with it while I figure out how to keep walking by that chocolate chip cookie.
I was scrolling one of the Weight Watchers groups on Facebook, and there was one lady who had lost 140 pounds in 1 year. She had gone from being like, 340 to 200 or something. And I was thinking how I mean, holy cow, that's a lot of weight to lose in a year. And how did she maintain her motivation throughout that whole, all of that time? I think that's really significant. I would wish I could harvest some of that, because for me, I don't know that it's the motivation that's lost. It was like the plan wasn't working, and then I lost my motivation. Like, I was having too many beans, and I can't seem to figure out how to tweak it so that I'm okay, so that it makes it easy again. So now I've lost the motivation, and I've gone all gung ho about cupcakes. So I think it's interesting how different people react, like how some people have joined Weight Watchers and they just continuously lose, and they may have short moments of plateaus or gains or whatever, and then there's some people like me who feel where I feel like half the time that I've been on Weight Watchers I failed at it, and half the time I've been a success, and I just happen to have lost 50 pounds in the process. Like, that's how I feel. Like, I don't know that I feel like I'm a this wonderful success, but I don't feel bad about my progress. I feel like I've done good. That's not grammatically correct. I've done well. And I think we can be proud of our progress. It's okay if it goes slower, and if we have to figure things out in the end. I think that's almost what helps us maintain it later. That we're figuring these things out in our heads about how to do this long term. I'll be honest that I've said this a couple times about how I'm angry about this process. I'm still angry about being on this stupid journey. I don't want to be here. I don't want to have to be fat and losing weight. Like, that's just not the life I want. But I also don't want to just be fat. So,
well, and I feel like it would be, for me, it's a disservice to say my only problem is staying within points. I am not the weight that I am because nobody taught me how to track points, and I didn't know that eating a lot of calories was bad. Like, there's clearly this an emotional component that I have to work through, and there's layers as I kind of get to a new weight. There's new layers of emotion that I have to work through with that weight, and so whether I'm cognizant of it or not, I am mindful of the fact that my problem with Weight Watchers is not food. My problem with Weight Watchers is I'm working through a whole bunch of stuff, and I just have to keep chipping away.
And I think about Freestyle, and when it was rolled out in Weight Watchers' direction as a company, and they've talked about how they're going more to the wellness concept. They want to be the company known for wellness. And I don't know, I wouldn't have joined Weight Watchers because I wanted to be well. I joined it because I wanted to lose weight. If I'm just looking for wellness, I wouldn't have come and joined something for wellness. I can go to a blog for that. And so I feel like in some ways I just feel like things changed, and that's not what I signed up for, and that's why I started seeking out things like Nutrisystem and Jenny Craig and these other things, because I thought I need something centered around weight loss. Wellness is great, and I think that, we all kind of do that naturally. We try to seek things out that holistically, that's what we want, but that's not enough for me. I need something focused around weight loss. And I don't know. I feel like something with, like, the mat was pulled out under from me. And that's how I've been feeling with Freestyle. Like, I tried to work it didn't work. And now I'm feeling like I was, something was changed out really quickly. And that's not what I signed up for. And so it's not Freestyle. It's how I'm working it clearly. Like, lots of people are having success. I'm just not one of them. And I desire to be one of them.
I guess I'm also interested to what Lisa was saying, for those of you that are listening, for those of you that have a lot to lose that maybe got plateaued out for a long period of time, have you been able to find a way of kind of working through that? And then what did that look like? I'm interested to learn from people that are finding success. So thank you guys so much for listening. Be sure to visit us on eatcrunchy.com. We'll continue to kind of update you and let you know how we're doing. We recognize that today was a little bit, I don't know, depressing, but it's where reflective. I like reflective better. It's where we are. So we're going to be who we are. And thanks for listening. And we didn't lose you. Good luck this week.